So it's important to be able to say no so you feel empowered while still maintaining your relationships with others. This will go on my website under resources, by the way, so don't think you have to write everything down. Just let it wash over you. Take some notes of what changes for you, but don't think you have to write it all down. Saying no helps you establish healthy boundaries and enables others to have clarity about what they can expect from you. That's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Doesn't feel like there's any rejection in that. Feels like you're putting yourself in the right frame of mind to say that. And there's no projection onto the other person on what they expect from you. Many of us are afraid of conflict. We don't like others to be angry with us or critical of us. We therefore avoid saying no when we are afraid that it will put us into conflict with someone else. Whether that someone is an intimate partner, a colleague, a friend, a supervisor or a boss. Many of us also try to avoid battles with our children because we feel that if we say no to them, they will stop loving us. How much do we put on this word no? It feels like if you communicate no correctly and concisely and completely, it feels like that would be okay. And if it's not for you, that's what you need to explore. And maybe this has got something to do with it, I don't know. As children, we are taught not to go against authority. We are supposed to do what parents, teachers, and others in power tell us to do. We obey because of fears of being punished, but also because of a desire to please and to be loved by these people who are very important to us. We carry this worry with us into adulthood. How many times have I said that we hold on to things that keep us stuck from our childhood, from trauma, or from anything that's happened, and we carry it into our adulthood and then live our life by it? But we're also pulled by a desire to fit in with and be liked by our peers. Research has shown that men and women have a tremendous need to belong to a peer group. Whether boy or girl, man or woman, we desire acceptance by our friends or the people we want to be friends with as a way of establishing and maintaining a sense of identity. So right at the core of your identity, you have to belong to a group or to your peers, and to say no to them will affect your identity, especially if you don't know what your identity is. And it's identity of selfness, identity of self, and we're talking about self-love. The inability to say no is directly linked to the need to seek approval from others. But how do we end up the sort of adults who crave the positive opinions of others? Often it stems from a childhood where we didn't feel we could get love simply by being ourselves. When did that stop? You just being yourself. I remember for years being myself. For years. And I think it actually stopped for me when I was about 13. That's when it stopped for me. And I don't even know why that is, but I just know being a bit of a free spirit up until that time. I highlighted this one, so it must be good. Saying no is not a good thing if it's a form of self-sacrifice that takes you further and further away from knowing what your own wants and needs even are. So it takes you away. You're sacrificing yourself for others. And more importantly, do you know what you want? Do you know what your needs and wants are? Because that helps with saying no. You know, when you go into a conversation or a communication with somebody, you have to know what your terms are. You have to know your non-negotiables. Not just to say no, but to say no to something, but yes to something else. And knowing your non-negotiables helps with that. So this is a rhetorical question. What are your needs? What are your wants? This is more for the chat, just to get some stuff in the chat as well, to build on later on for a conversation. And it's stated in the positive, what would you like to have happen? So in this world of learning to say no, and in context of keto or lifestyle or whatever you want it to be, what would you like to have happen?